What's up, guys? Double Dog Gamer here, and today I'm happy to say the game that I think is my dream game and I've been waiting years for, called Sea Power, now has a release date in November of 2024. So what is Sea Power exactly? Sea Power is an RTS that takes place during the Cold War, where you can do Warsaw Pact or NATO forces, and you battle on air, land, and under the sea, and on the sea. This started as Cold Waters. If you've ever seen me play Cold Waters, it's the submarine game where you would play as the submarine. There's a few mods that actually let you do the surface ships. And this started kind of the want of this game. And they teased it immediately, like this is what they're doing. So you'll be able to control aircraft off of an aircraft carrier, send them on missions. You'll be able to control B-52 bombers, ground-based submarines, destroyers, cruisers. I mean, the list goes on. And like, dude, this is always what I've wanted. I've always wanted like a Cold War-esque RTS based on the sea and like around the Sea Power. I'm a huge fan of Red Storm Rising. Read that book probably close to 100 times now. My favorite book, and this lets you live that out. Absolutely does. And every time I see this, all I can think of is just the narration of the book overlaid with this. Like, it is the one game I've been waiting for so long. This is something I really want. It reminds me of, like, you know, Command Modern Operations and how in depth that is. You know, it's a crazy simulation, but this reminds me of, now we're getting the actual 3D version of it. And why do I say that? Well, because there's going to be a scenario editor, so you can build your own scenarios. Of course, this is the Cold War, so we're not going to be having modern day aircraft. That makes it more interesting, though. But they are allowing mods, so who knows what kind of weapons or what kind of ships we can get. There was modding for Cold Waters, but it seems like they're going to take it into a completely different direction, where they get more help. The modders get more help to do more things. And this being a giant sandbox, I can only imagine the types of mods we're going to get for this. What the different things it covers: aircraft, ships, submarines, and etc. This game is heavily inspired by Jane's Fleet Command and Strike Fleet. And if you played Cold Waters, you get the feeling too. But this just adds onto it and creates this giant sandbox of that really like this era, this type of warfare, really are going to delve into extremely hard. I had the chance to, I missed the chance to hang out with the Microprose guys at Gamescom, and even see some of the Sea Power stuff in person. But of course, it was busy. It was always hard to link up with everybody. So missed that chance, and you know, I've been waiting for this game so long. It's one of those games I'm just very patient on, to where, you know, I'm not really, when's this going to release? It's like, when it comes, it comes. And honestly, I'm excited. This is something I'm going to absolutely crack out on, very hard. You're going to see it all over the channel, all over the streams. This is something I've wanted for a long time, and I feel is just going to be so immersive and allow so much freedom and have so much replayability that it'll never get boring. And then once you start adding in the mods, it's going to even be crazier. So this is something that Cold Waters still, you know, I was never good at Cold Waters because I don't understand, you know, submarine warfare. I try to. I'm not sub brief. I don't know anything about it. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm terrible at it. But I understand like air power and how to use that and how to use like surface ships. So this is going to be an interesting game to see it play out. There's like Strait of Hormuz stuff versus the Iranians. You can go against the Soviet Union. They show off the Tu-22 backfires, B-52 bombers. I mean, we could recreate the entire Red Storm Rising, like Battle of Reykjavik on it, and you know, just do crazy stuff. I'm so excited. This is something that really appeals to the hardcore mil-simi guys for the RTS games. You have things like Wargame Red Dragon, where it's very, you know, arcadey at times, and you know, there's arcade elements on it that don't really grab me as much. You got games like Broken Arrow, which kind of run along those lines, but they're also doing something different with it, which does appeal to me and something that I like. You know, I like having single player. Single player is a huge thing for me. I don't get onto these multiplayer meta games, meta decks and stuff like that. I don't get on them for RTS. I like single player. I like scenario editors. I like playing campaigns. I like chilling by myself. I'm getting older. Multiplayer games aren't really my thing as much as they used to be. And this really strikes a chord with me because it is such an era that you know, the two most powerful nations were going to meet each other in war out in the open sea, like generations before. But it never happened. And you can play out the scenario of like, what if it did happen? Like what would have happened? Like how would it have looked? You know, would it be like Red Storm Rising, or would it have gone differently? And you can play that out now on your own. And I think this game is going to go and do amazing things. And honestly, like, I wish every success upon this game, because if Sea Power does do good, it opens the door. I mean, Cold Waters did good. Now think of what happens if Sea Power goes good. Can we get modern Sea Power, where it goes to modern age with like drones, hypersonic weapons, etc.? What does the future lie? Of course, modding's going to do that, but Triassic has the ability to completely take this idea and drop it into another completely different game, or even add more into the world itself, like more ground vehicles, more, you know, DLCs of different types of things. As far as multiplayer, they said not on release, but it's something they're going to look at if there's a demand for it, which, you know, I think there's always a demand for multiplayer games, but with multiplayer games always comes its own challenges, especially in development with RTSs and stuff like that, servers and things. But I think this game is going to be such a sleeper hit with the military RTS community, because you know, everyone's waiting on Task Force Admiral, which is basically this but World War II. And I think Microprose is also doing that one too. And then you get into, now you're going to have the Sea Power, the Cold War era, and the guys who really couldn't get into Cold Waters because it was just based on subs are really going to gravitate towards this game. I think a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, this looks cool, and give it a shot, and absolutely just fall in love with it. Now, the one thing is, I did watch the live stream of it. There's a very long development live stream where they actually played it. I watched a few videos of people play it that got early access looks to it. The controls and the UI and stuff definitely look minimalistic, but at the same time, they don't really look like Cold Waters UI. So I think that's going to be one of the challenges, trying to get used to the new UI and how it actually works out. But this is a game that I absolutely am super excited for. I think every one of you guys should wishlist it. No pricing yet, but I'm gonna assume it'll definitely probably be under $50. I don't think it's gonna be, you know, EA pricing or anything like that. But I'm stoked for this. This is something I've always wanted. I've been following this for so long, and we're getting so much closer. You know, this is going to be a huge thing on the channel, because it is an RTS that I've always wanted to play, and I feel like the game is almost made for me, and, you know, the content that I want to do with this RTS. But anyways, boys, tell me what you think of Sea Power. Is it something you're going to be excited to play? You're going to play it? You want to watch it? Let me know down in the comments below. Talk to you guys later. Peace.